Spooky, spooky. I don't have any spooky songs written, so I'm just gonna sing one instead at the intro because it's time to talk about spooky stuff. It's Halloween, in case anybody didn't know, and it's about 11:40 here at Site B on a gloomy, hazy, late morning. And I thought we'd talk about vampire hunter kits because they exist, which is one of the most wonderfully ridiculous things in the real world that is worth talking about at Halloween. Vampire hunter kits have existed since the 18th century. The weird thing is, vampire hunter kits predate Bram Stoker's Dracula because apparently vampire tourism was a thing, kind of like riding the Orient Express or having a high tea or going to a bar and drinking absinthe. People who were traveling across the continent, and if their travels took them into that part of the world, were actively wondering if they would run into vampires, and there was a market for vampire hunter kits. Unfortunately, many of the vampire hunter kits that are now in circulation are fake, and it's hard to tell which one came out when because no two were really the same. It was a very much an individual thing. It wasn't like you could walk into Target and just find rows of the exact same vampire hunter kit. Dungeons and Dragons, the vampire hunter kit, whatever. So they were very personalized. They were very individual. Usually they had the basics, but there was also a wide variety. So it's very hard. The most recent one that was discovered that was real auctioned off at an auction, I think it was 2 years ago, for 18 grand. So that's not bad. But there's a lot of fakes out there, unfortunately. The real ones were made somewhere around the 18th century is when vampire tourism began. Weird that it predates Bram Stoker, but yeah, still. So, unfortunately, later versions came out, and then, of course, a lot of fakes dating back to the 40s exist, and then now thanks to XE and stuff like that, there are fakes that are locating today, and sometimes people claim the fakes are real. And the only real thing would be if they were historically from the 18th century. Otherwise of that, what is a real vampire hunter kit? It's trying to pass off a kit now as one of the ones from the 18th century. That's the problem. But if you say this is, a legitimate fake and I'm recreating for artistic view, that's fine. So I'm going to show you some pictures of ones that I found online. I don't know which ones are real. One of them is supposed to be real. This one is supposed to be real. This one is on auction at the it says it's an lot 17 18th century vampire hunter kit, and I think it's going for a couple hundred. I don't know. Doesn't show a price, but this one is supposedly historically from the actual thing. So we have a pistol, we've got a cross, we've got holy water, we've got the stake. Don't know what's in this. Probably Holy Communion wafers, and then probably the stuff for the gun, and maybe a Bible. But the main things, of course, is the stake, the holy water. There you go. Here is a replica. This one comes from Avery Altered Art, and again, you can see the wooden cross, the wooden stakes, the cross, a cross on a rosary, Bible, some type of liquid. I'm assuming holy water. We got a hammer. We've got a mirror. We've got a thing for either pulling out the teeth or making silver bullets. No, that's a werewolf. Looks like maybe a bottle of vampire teeth. And then I'm not sure what these are or these are. But yeah, this is on Pinterest. This is fake. Here's another one. This is the original vampire killing kit from Philadelphia, supposedly. This one's real. And again, you can see the variety, that this one's different than the last one. We got the gun, we've got a teeny knife, we got a pamphlet on vampire hunting, we got some bottles, of course, the mandatory Christian paraphernalia, the holy water, the Bible. So the must-haves are obviously wooden stake, cross, holy water. Never run into a Jewish vampire. Don't know why, but you never do. Here's a more elaborate one. This one says Antique Vampire Hunter Kit, but this one looks like it's was made by somebody. And very nice, right? This is very pretty. I guess these are supposed to be teeth. Got a little, what is this thing called? A tabloa or whatever it is? A reliquary. Got a cross, got a Bible, got a candle. This one comes with a whole bunch of little tools and stuff. A knife, a pistol, I think. Two pistols. Um, the wooden stake, of course. Here's another one. This one is maybe says it's 18th or 19th century, so this one could be realistic. This one comes with a gun and everything else. So we got the silver bullets. No, that's a werewolf. You got the knife, the axe for cutting off the head, some other things. Opera glasses, I guess, for spying. Here's another one. This one says 1800s Vampire Hunter Kit by Postmortem Curiosities. So this is a recreation. This one says Vampire Hunter Kit. You can see that they've dyed everything to give it that oldie timey look. There's Vampire the Masquerade, Vampire Hunter Kit. This one is obviously fake. Here's a Vampire Hunter Kit. We got the reliquies, another reliquy, 3 crosses, the gun, the hammer, a censer for I guess the incense, and some other the pliers. The pliers are either for making the molds for the bullets or for pulling out vampire teeth. Because you had to show that you collected the vampire teeth when you came back. So you can see some of these are real. Most of these are recreations. It's hard to tell because the amount of craftsmanship that goes into the recreations is very, 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 very skillful. And some of these date to the 18th century. Some of them date later, 19th, 20th, 21st. Now, so it depends upon where historically you would consider a real vampire hunter's kit, as opposed to the ones that were made after, either to sell or as novelty works of art. There's a strange man walking in my garden, or there's been a lot of strange people around here lately. Guess it's Halloween, or because vampire hunting is still a thing. Now, do they make actual vampire hunting today? Is there still vampire tourism? I mean, people still go for tours of Dracula's castle, and people still go on tours of all the different places where Twilight was filmed and stuff like that. But actually looking for real live vampires in today's day and age, I mean, I suppose they could insert a politics joke here or an attorney joke here. Want to find a vampire? Just go to an attorney's office. Ha 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 ha. But no, I think most vampire tourism now is related to a movie or a book, as opposed to people actually going through the Carpathian Mountains, going through Transylvania, going through Upper Europe, and carrying the vampire kit with them because they were convinced they would run into vampires, or taking vampire tourist trips were a thing you did. Come on, Muffy, let's go. The Queen's Ball isn't until the 18th. We've got at least 2 weeks. Let's go to the Carpathian Mountains and drink tea and hunt vampires. Oh, Reginald, it sounds dreadfully fun. So there you go. There's a little Halloween nonsense goofiness for you. Have you ever heard of these before? Let me know. Do you know anybody who has one of these? And if it's a real from the 18th century or a fake, are you an Etsy artist and have you made any of these? Because I'd love to see them. I'd love to hear you discuss why you made them. If you appreciate these occasional bouts of weirdness and translating real world stuff to you, please let me know. If you haven't had a chance to support the OGGM yet, please consider supporting me. Links down below. I can't do this without you guys, so please support me. And as we stumble across more weird stuff like this, we will share it. I think this is cool. I think it's so cool that people really went on vampire tourism trips, and people made a market of vampire hunting kits because enough people were going vampire hunting that somebody thought they could make a profit off of it. That's just more bizarre than any fantasy I could think of, right? That this actually happened. That's just slightly scary, but mostly cool. And that it basically shows that people had a lot of free time in the 18th century, I guess. I got nothing else to do. I guess I'll go to the Carpathian Mountains and hunt vampires, right? Because I don't know, get a job. Nah. Anyways, there you go. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you later. See ya.